Congresswoman, as the party's whip. Can you give us a sense of where we are? Are we still at 214? Will more Republicans sign on to this plan?
We are at 214, which means we only need 4 Republicans. And there are far more than 4 who are saying we should extend these tax credits. So we are saying to them, now is the time to do it. We have 3 days left of session before we recess for the holidays and just days before this tax credit expires. We don't know where they've been. They voted for the bill back in July that ended these tax credits and let them expire. And at the same time, they are making tax cuts for the very wealthiest Americans permanent and not requiring that there be any offset in the budget for the trillions of dollars that that is going to cost. So now is the time, because we are hearing it across Massachusetts and across the country. People are hurting. They are not able to afford this dramatic doubling, tripling, even quadrupling of insurance premiums. This is a healthcare crisis the GOP has caused. We have the vehicle for them to fix it today.
Well, you know, I asked Jason Smith what he was hearing from Obamacare recipients in his state of Missouri, and he made the point that there were so few in his state that it really wasn't an issue. I'm curious what happens when a line cook from Kelly's Roast Beef on Revere Beach calls your office. What do you tell them on the constituent services line is about to happen?
Yeah, we're telling them that we are fighting for them. And let me tell you that already in Massachusetts, we know that 10,000 people have opted out of the ACA because they can't afford to stay on that insurance. These are people, these are small businesses. These are people who need to be able to take a child to a doctor, to ensure their spouse can continue their cancer treatments, to manage their diabetes. I cannot stress how anxious and worried people are. And this is layered on top of watching cost of living continuing to rise. The Republicans are doing nothing to address this. In fact, the policies that they have green-lighted, like Donald Trump's tariff policies, the cuts to Medicaid, this cuts to the ACA tax credit, to veterans' health benefits, to food programs, all of this is putting even more economic pressure on American families. In this holiday season, come together, do the right thing by the American people, and help them keep and afford health insurance.
What do you think, Congresswoman? Will this discharge petition hit the floor before everybody heads home for the year?
I'm going to remain hopeful. We're very much watching the process that is going on as we speak in committee, where Republicans are putting forth their amendments on how to extend these tax credits. I hope that if that is not successful for them, and certainly the indications from Republican leadership is it won't be, but we'll see, then the next logical choice for them is for 4 of them to come and join us so we can force a vote and do right by the American people who are counting on us.
You know, the president has told us he plans to address the nation tomorrow in prime time. We haven't seen that too often from this president, to do a prime time, I presume, an Oval Office address. We'll see what the venue is, Congresswoman. Is there any expectation on Capitol Hill that he shows up with a health care plan and directs members, Republican members on Capitol Hill to vote for it?
Well, I'm certainly hoping for a holiday miracle, but I don't know what the subject will be. But what we are seeing and hearing from his own chief of staff in an article that dropped today is that the White House continues to be chaotic. It continues to be unlawful. The president continues to just respond to world events in a vile and disgusting way, as he did with the horrible murders we saw in LA. And he's unhinged. So I certainly hope that somebody has gotten to him and said, the American people need you to keep your promise to lower costs and to make sure they have health care. But we've seen no sign of that in nearly a year of this administration. And he has done everything in his power to make things harder and more expensive for American families.
Well, speaking of reacting to things happening around the world, Congresswoman, there was an important and classified briefing for lawmakers today by members of the administration. We saw the Defense Secretary, Secretary of State, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs march up to Capitol Hill to make the case for whatever mission is unfolding in the Caribbean. Did they succeed in making that case? And what is the mission around Venezuela?
I will tell you this, that this briefing was both long overdue and highly disappointing. And what we are asking from this administration is that they have to remember that Congress needs to be informed. Congress, they should be sharing their intelligence with us. Congress is the one that can declare war. And this president needs to open up that line of communication and be honest and transparent. And the way to do that is to start by releasing the video of this second strike on the boat in the Caribbean that has been so controversial. The president said he would do it, and we saw Secretary Hegseth walk that back today. We thought we might be able to see that video in this classified briefing, and we were disappointed, to say the least, that they are not fulfilling that. This is about keeping our troops and the American people safe, and they cannot take Congress out of the equation.
I spoke with your colleague Jim McGovern a couple of days ago here on Balance of Power, Congresswoman, about his War Powers resolution that's set to ripen and hit the floor as soon as this week. We know there are competing bills in the Senate as well. Will there be a vote on a War Powers Act?
We are actually going to be voting on two War Powers Acts. Jim McGovern, which is directing the president not to proceed without Congress in Venezuela, and Gregory Meeks, who is going to be addressing in his War Powers resolution the strikes on these boats in the Caribbean and Pacific. So we will be taking up a vote, and we will have a strong yes vote from all of the Democrats.